All right, and we're back. Once again, this is Plunked, the one and only podcast that talks about two baseball teams from one city, that city being Chicago. I am one of your hosts, Emilio Bucks, and this is my co-host.
Kristen Pertite.
How are you doing today, Kristen?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging
That's
in there
good.
for a Sunday.
Thank you.
Kids going back to school on Wednesday.
That's why you're smiling. Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
buddy, it's time. I had a lot of fun with them over the summer, for sure. But they gotta go.
Now it's time for them to learn.
Time for them to
I'll
learn.
catch your kids on winter break.
They are the state's problem from 7-something to 2-something.
It's the state's problem. Are they excited about school at least? Going
Yeah,
back?
they really are. Well, they are both. One is starting middle school at a new school, and the
Okay.
other one is starting kindergarten. So they're both
Mhm.
first days at a new school. So that's
Okay.
always,
Yeah.
kind of exciting, kind of
Mhm.
probably a little anxious and
Right.
whatnot. But hey, I'm happy for them.
That's good. I was at the store and I was in the back to school section, and it was nostalgic because you remember how excited you used to be to get all your school
Yeah,
supplies, and I was like, oh, the good old days when life was simple.
I know, and that would be the only time I was ever excited about school was
Getting
getting
all
new school clothes and supplies. Because
Yes.
once the school year started, it was no
Once you
excitement.
showed off all your new stuff,
Yeah,
it was done for you.
I was done. I was looking forward to the next day off. After that first week or two, and you got all your new clothes outfits out, and once you start the repeats, then it's like I'm waiting for Christmas break now, and you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, a lot of people as adults say they wish they were kids, and I don't.
You don't.
No, really. Not that it was bad being a kid or my childhood was bad, but I
Just don't. That's because being a kid mean you had to stay in school, and that's not your thing.
yeah, I had to go to school. Like, no, and I'm lucky to have a job that I like and I get paid
Mhm.
for versus going to school, which I didn't like, which I didn't get
Right.
paid
Yeah.
for. So like this is much better. Now I got
Yeah.
mouths to feed though, so it's
I think that's the only thing I would want to go back to childhood is it was just somebody else had to take care of all the bills.
yeah. I remember wanting to get mail, and adults would tell me, "You don't want to get mail. These are just bills. You don't want
That is true.
these." Yeah.
Now it's but now you get emails for the bill. So
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter now. They catch you. But even still, like I love an empty mailbox. That means no bad news. I mean,
that's
like,
true.
because a lot of random bills still show up in the
That
mail,
is
like
true.
from
Yeah.
doctors' offices and
Yeah. Yeah. I do
whatnot.
get
Like,
those.
oh, my insurance isn't covering this. Like,
Oh my
oh,
gosh. And mine is awful.
great.
Cigna.
Oh, I have Cigna Dental, so I feel you.
Cigna Medical is worthless.
Worthless. I'm
But
sorry.
anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that.
About to make me angry.
I know.
They
I
do not
see.
care about my health at all.
I see.
They're like, she can't walk. Oh, who cares?
What am I paying you for?
Man, I might as well save that money every
I
check.
know. And if you're coming out of pocket for everything, anyways.
I told you how my MRI was cheaper out of pocket than it was going to be with the
Right.
insurance.
And that was so crazy. It took you that long to find that out. And then
Yep.
you're like, wow, I would have been at this.
Yep.
Okay.
But
Right.
you have to be denied an MRI
Ah.
when I have insurance. That's what they told me because I tried to pay for a different MRI and they were like, go get it denied from insurance first. Because of course they want that money. They get paid way more from the
Sure.
insurance company.
Sure. Then
So
out of your
you
pocket.
have to get if you have insurance, they're like, you need to get denied first and then you can pay out of pocket.
Oh, interesting. What a jip.
Yes. So you get a little bit of everything here on Plunked.
Right. We get political. We talk about healthcare. It's a joke. But anyways, speaking of joke, let's talk about some Chicago baseball, shall we?
Well, I guess you
So,
want me to
how are
start.
things going with the Chicago Cubs right now? I mean, we know they're not in
Yeah.
contention or anything, but how are they looking?
Well, they have looked better. And they have some new excitement. Um, Someone brought up, it might have been Marcus Stroman, how the baseball world is kind of not disrespecting, but overlooking Nico and how well he's played and how well he's played shortstop when there were concerns about that. And since he's so quiet and probably kind of boring, we went from Javi, so
Mm-hmm.
it's and now we got boring Nico, but he's played well, very
Mm-hmm.
well actually. His hitting, I think, now Hap has more home runs, but he just doesn't have that many less than Ian Happ. So he's shown a little bit of power. He seems to get on base all the time, so that's exciting because he's supposed to be part of the core. Now, whether he stays at shortstop remains to be seen because that depends on if if they're not lying this year like they lie every other year.
Mm-hmm.
They may go for a Correa or a Trey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why his name has slipped my mind. Um,
Please take Correa away from Minnesota.
I, from Minnesota.
Yes.
So, but I think it's Trey Turner. I think that's who it is. He said people have been asking him about would he come here or wherever he's going to go, and he says he definitely has to know all the plan, the entire plan, before he'll sign anywhere. And I think for any big name free agent, that's what the Cubs are going to have to do. Because while they're playing better, are they still going to try to play poor, or, pretend to be poor next year because they're still waiting for their prospects? No one's going to come here. No one's going to waste 2 years of their prime
Okay,
here.
let's do something really quick. Check this out. Let's do a quick role play. All right. I'm Correa, I'm Trey Turner. Trey Correa, call me, right?
Okay.
I'm a sought after middle infielder
Okay.
looking for a new home. I'm young, but I'm not that young.
Right.
So I'm looking someplace to win. You're Jed Hoyer. What do you tell me to get me to sign with the Chicago Cubs?
Okay. Hey, Trey Turner. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Trey Correa.
Trey
Hey, Trey
Correa.
Correa. So let me tell you about what we have going on here. I know we've had bad publicity. There's a terrible narrative going around our
Yes,
team. The
yes, you
narrative is that
do.
we don't care about our stars. We get rid of our stars. Well, let me tell you this, Trey Correa. Those days are over. Okay. We realize our mistakes and how we did it with Bryant, Rizzo, Javi Baez, and we're trying to now atone for those mistakes. And we're ready to build a perennial contender. And we want to start that this year. And you're the main piece in order for this to happen. We have our pitching. We have Justin Steele. We have Keegan Thompson. We have Marcus Stroman. So we have three top-notch starters. We have Nico Horner, who you team up with. He'll be your second baseman. That's your double play combination. We have Ian Happ, one of the most improved ball players in the league. We have Seiya Suzuki, top-notch right fielder. Okay, so what we're missing is you. You come here, we have money to spend to get another top line starter. We have money to spend to fix our bullpen, and we have money to fix one more spot in our outfield. And this is
I
Chicago.
really like that Wilson Contreras guy. Do you guys have any plans for him?
Oh yeah, he's staying.
Oh,
We
oh,
just had to wait. We had to wait to see what else was happening with our core and what's happening in our farm system. And so we know who we plan to bring up, who will be ready next year, who may not be ready. We know who we may have to use in a trade. So
okay.
Contreras has to stay here because he can play any position besides pitcher. He's also a DH, and he's our veteran leader on this team. So he will be here. And so we have you, Contreras, and we're going to get another person because we're ready to get our second World Series.
Okay.
And then our
You
third.
wouldn't be bullshitting me, would you, Jed?
Well, yes. But
Chicago.
Everything depends on you, Trey Carrera. I'm telling you what I'm going to do for you. It's all on you. And this is Chicago. This is Wrigley Field. If we bring you in here with this talent that we have right now, and they know that you're here, that means they know we're serious. Everyone's going to come back, and you will be loved throughout the country because we travel well.
I gotta tell you, Jed, I'm looking to get paid now too. So and I'm not giving any discounts. I don't want to hear anything about that taking a cut so you can build a team.
Carrera, we haven't paid anyone in 2 years, so we have the money. Okay, so
this is true.
We have been saving money for you. So now it's on you.
Now I do believe that, Jed. I do believe that. And I think I might take you up on your offer. Because when you put it like that, it seems like you might have something going on there in the friendly confines. Well, let me ask you about the manager. Do you think still kind of a young, inexperienced manager, David Ross, is the guy that's going to get you your second World Series with the Chicago Cubs?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I really don't. But yes, definitely.
Okay. What did you say? You said something under your breath?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I just had a little tickle in my throat.
Oh, okay.
No, yes, David Ross, he has managed us when we had the other core, got them to the playoffs. He has been with us through the gutter, and now he's on his way to bring us up. And so he is the man. And if we find out in a year or two he's not, you guys are going to be so spectacular. Any manager that is available is going to want to come here. But I believe in David Ross. I believe in his vision. He's just waiting for a player like you for his vision to come, true.
Well, damn, I gotta say that's a pretty convincing argument there, Jed. You about damn near talked the stirrups off me.
Let me type out this contract. I'll send it to the DocuSign.
DocuSign, like you don't even need to be here to sign it. You don't have to really sign it.
We'll have that a photo op later if you sign in a piece of paper after we have the DocuSign.
That's actually pretty good. When you put it like that, Jed, the Cubs don't sound all that far away. Or they sound closer than what it may feel like right now.
Yeah, we know our mistakes. We realize our mistakes, and we hear you, fans. We hear you. Even though, it's summertime. Everyone wants to get a little piece of Wrigley Field, but we know you really are upset with what we did. We know we waited too long to move on from some of our core. We know that maybe we didn't do exactly what we should have last time. We know this, and the Ricketts know this, and we see that that numbers are down. Yeah, when they announce our ticket prices, there's 40,000, but when you look, there's 10,000 seats empty. We know this, we see this, and you deserve more. The city deserves more, and so it's time for us to, come through on our promises. We lied to you last year. I'm just going to be honest with you, very transparent. We lied through our teeth. But that's what you have to do. Sometimes you gotta lie.
Yeah, you sold me, Deb. She's good, right? Like I signed.
Jed and Company. Tell them to call me.
Okay, now, all right, now it's Ricketts calling you on the other line. I'm Ricketts. Okay. Hey, Jed, you got him? So would you tell him?
I told him that. Okay, let's see. I told him, Tom, I told him I know that we have biblical losses during COVID. And so I let him know that, we're going to have to work within the constraints of our budget. But I also let him know that we owe the fans. Okay, you guys have enough bad PR.
Whoa. Fans. Oh, the fans.
Okay, Tom, let me be honest with you.
Yeah.
The city and the country hates your family, okay?
Oh.
So we need some goodwill. They only like your sister. So it's time to get a little goodwill. Okay, we lied to them, Tom. I have to do something. We flat out lied to our fan base last year when we said we were going to be active. We threw our name out there knowing good and well we weren't going to get anybody. This year we had to get someone. Tom, we have to get someone. They're not going to stand for this another year. They're not. I mean, They're really not.
I think you're right. Okay, make sure you got my okay. Sign
Okay.
Trey Correa right away. Let's
I'm
make
sending
it happen.
DocuSign.
Send the DocuSign over. Have them sign it.
We
Well,
tell
I mean,
one of them, either Nico or Trey, or Trey Carrera. Well, if it's Carrera, definitely Nico's going to second.
right.
Trey, they may be able to switch. Like Trey may play second, Nico say it's short. Nick Madrigal is just going to have to be like the utility guy.
Yeah, if he can get and stay healthy, and
because he's been doing better.
Yeah,
he has been doing better, but you're not. No, if I can get one of those other ones, you're out of
it. He may not be the middle infielder that for the next run, so to speak. I mean, because the Cubs really do have some pieces. They're not a laughing stock or anything like that. They're just missing some players. I mean, Justin Steele, I mean, he's arguably one of, since All-Star break, he's been one of the best pitchers in the NL, I think. Like, he's been really good. And and you mentioned Ian Happ is there a most improved player award, that we could get him?
But he would definitely. I mean, he improved his defense so much. And I never disliked Ian Happ, but I just figured he could be my fourth outfielder, and that's it. And now, now listen, if we get 2 stars who want to come here, Ian Happ is my fourth outfielder, or he's my DH. So you can get his bat all the time. He can switch off with Wilson with DH sometimes, and he can come in because he can also play second base, Ian Happ. So, but yeah, he is very improved. So they have some pieces, but they need a lot of pieces. They still need quite a few pieces because you're not winning anything with this group, even though they won 5 in a row. Then they lost today. But Milwaukee's not good. And they've been beaten, they beat up on the Nationals. So they've been beating up on pretty awful teams.
Which they should. So
yeah.
Which actually just says a little something, like beating the team you're supposed to beat. I think we look past that as an expectation, and too much of the time it doesn't come to pass. And then we could talk about the White Sox, not beating teams that they're supposed to beat. So like, that's when I look at this Cubs team, I say like, okay, they are playing up to their expectation for one. You didn't have high expectations.
Right.
I wouldn't say that they're falling below whatever expectations were there. Again, you've seen some great flashes. Nico Horner has been really good. I think he's overlooked is because he's on a losing team only. Like Tim Anderson.
Flashy.
He's not flashy. You know what I mean? Even Tim Anderson was overlooked quite a while until the Sox started winning some games a couple of years ago. So I think that can all improve.
So they have. I'm still the team fine, the players fine, but I am still disgusted with the ownership. So I'm just. I hope they're not lying this year. I knew they were lying last year. I knew it as soon as they said it. I knew they were lying last year.
You definitely were saying that they're lying last year. They were in the middle of the lies, and you called it out. Definitely.
Yes. So I hope they're not lying this year, and I hope that they can convince whoever is available. I don't know, we'll get to those shows later on of who's available next year. I don't know everyone's available that is available, but I hope that they can really sell the team to these available players.
It's a great place, a great city to play in. Like no doubt about it. That's why we do the show for this great city, even when the teams aren't always great. And speaking of not always great teams, let's switch sides. Talk a little about the Southsiders.
Okay, they're making a comeback.
Still toiling 2.5 back, I believe, and can't quite get over the hump.
Yeah, but they look better.
They do
sometimes
look better at times. Still inconsistent. Still still not consistently, scoring runs.
Yeah.
I think that's still the issue. Still in the top 5 in the majors with a batting average, but still last in walks, and someplace in the bottom as far as home runs go. Abreu leading with I think 13 or 14 home runs, which is
That's crazy.
14. He's leading the team with 14 home runs, which is
Wow.
abysmal. And then you look at a guy like, like one of the guys in New York who's got like 40 something.
Yeah, Schwarber has 34, I think.
Yeah, so it's I don't really know what the issue is with them, with the lack of power that that has been happening all year. I still, think that there's a poor approach. Their hitting coaches and helping them much, probably not as much as they should be, but we're still here. The team is not going quietly.
Right.
I guess there's something to be said about
Because
that.
there was some chances for them to just say, forget it. Forget it.
This
We're
is
done.
this is true. Our favorite plunkster,
Yeah.
Wake Tony up and ask him his plan down the stretch. Yeah.
When
I don't even know if he's got a plan. He rarely looks like he's got a plan. He's just kind of going through some motions when he's awake. And
Steve Stone said that the team kind of does a disservice to him when they don't put people on the IL. And they'll just let players miss 5-6 games, and now they're always a man short. So moves can't be made because they are always hoping that someone's going to heal. And then Steve Stone said, unfortunately, our guys don't heal that fast. So if a guy's out 6 games, you might as well just put him on the 10-day, and then you could have at least had someone
you
up
brought
there,
someone up.
yeah, for another person, another body.
That is a problem, but my concern is, like, even if we bring a guy up, is Tony even going to play him?
Well,
or is he going to keep with Leary no matter what? Who's injured right now is the only reason you haven't seen him.
And you asked.
I did. I was like, how come he never gets injured? And then he gets injured. Sorry, Leary.
Shame, boy. Such a shame.
I know. I'm sorry about that. I really don't wish injury upon any player, even on another team, unless it's.
But you know what? I never wish career ending or altering.
There you go.
Just a little nagging when they happen to miss the series against my team. That's okay.
If you got to miss the year, that's okay.
If you got to miss the playoffs, or if we happen to face you in the World Series,
that's fine. That's fine. Speaking of injuries, and like for example, like Grandal went down the other day with a knee injury. Well, I kind of feel like Grandal shouldn't have been playing anyways.
Oh, really?
He shouldn't, like, Gavin Sheets. He's not good. You get Gavin Sheets, who has a great game, a 4-hit game at DH, and then the next day he doesn't play in favor of Grandal at DH, who's still hitting barely 200, who's got a slugging percentage of someplace in the 259 for a slugging percentage. That's pathetic. Yeah. And he's supposed to be there for left-handed power. So my concern is, it's like Tony playing guys that he just shouldn't play. And yeah, maybe they should put him on the IL to keep Tony from playing him.
Right.
The only way Tony was not going to play Leary, not going to start Leary every game, is to put Leary on the IL.
And you wonder, like, why does he have such a thing with, like, why does he love some of these players so much that don't produce? It's one thing to
know.
love someone that's going to produce.
I don't know. And there's guys who he is very, hands off about, like giving them a real shot to play. Like, he just almost like he had to be forced to play Andrew Vaughn every day. And Andrew Vaughn is an everyday player. It was clear at the beginning of the season when he made his adjustments, the league made adjustments to him in the offseason, and he's still playing well. So that proved that he was there, but it took months before Tony would play him every day. And with Grandal, again, I'd rather them give those left-handed power chances to Gavin Sheets right now, especially when we're at home, because Gavin Sheets loves hitting home runs in well, I was going to say Comiskey Park. Wow. He loves hitting home runs in Guaranteed Race Field.
It'll always be Comiskey.
It'll always be Comiskey. And thanks again, Deb, for that Comiskey poster. I hung it up. I framed it and hung it up. I should have took a picture of it to show, but
Deb just is always with the gifts. We're gonna have to get some plunk gear made and send it Deb.
And we still owe her some Green River.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Okay. I'll have to find someone, get it shipped to you.
We have to talk to the Amazon gods or something.
Yeah. Green River.
Now let me ask you, what's your opinion of analytics, and how big of a part do they play in today's game?
I think they play too much. I think it's okay to have them. I also think it's okay to use the eye test. I think analytics has, and because I'm not big on analytics, I feel as though it has hurt a couple of sports, in my opinion. If your team really isn't doing well, baseball has gotten very boring. People started doing, like, looking at analytics, changing their swings, the launch angle, all these other things. And now no one's really hitting for power. Only a few people are. There's not a lot of contact most of the time. So it's just, I think, when you see these war on people, wins above replacement, whatever, blah, 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 you also know that just based on the player. Like, I don't even need to see your statistics. I know player A is better than player B.
Right.
That's only good if, for example, if you want to show Tony that he needs to be playing Gavin Sheets, maybe that's the time you'll bring up the war.
Right. Right.
But you also see that with your eyes. I don't even need you to tell me that Gavin Sheets is better than Grandal for the, what you were talking about. Correct.
Yeah, I didn't use any analytics for that.
Joe Madden, who was one of the pioneers, that's what he did in Tampa Bay. And he kind of got fired for that with the Angels because he said they started focusing too much on it. And then, I'm like, if you're the Angels, clearly your methods suck because you have one of the greatest baseball players ever, or, he's in the top with Mike Trout. Then you got Shohei, like, you're wasting talent.
Who looks like who could be also one of the best ever.
He is like the new Babe Ruth, pitching and hitting and doing them both extremely well. And you're wasting these people's talents.
Yeah. And
your method of everything is analytics is garbage.
I
think you just need to, for me, it could be 70-30, 60-40, 60% old-fashioned way, 40% analytics. I get tired of when I'm listening to the Cubs broadcast because what's his name? Boog Giambi, whatever his name is. That's all he wants to tell us about is the analytics. And then people who are really into analytics, they talk to you like they act like you're stupid if you're not really into it. Like you're an idiot. That even happens on radio. Like some of the hosts on the sports radio. If you're not into it as much as they are, you're stupid. Like, okay, whatever. You're number nerds. That's what you like. You like that stuff, but I don't need to hear it all the time because I don't care if your line out, the exit velo was better than that, was more than that home run. I don't care. One of them was an out, one of them was a run. I don't need to keep hearing about your exit velo, like all that stuff. So what's your opinion on it?
I agree. I think too much of anything is a bad thing. And, there has to be some guts and instinct to anything that you do that aren't numbers based, that aren't, run through a calculator, just a kind of a gut feeling that you need to go with sometimes. But then I look at a guy like Tony who relies on his gut maybe a little too much and makes some real questionable moves. And I'm not saying him going the analytical way would help. I think they're good in spurts. I think it's just you can't have too much of non-instinctual, non-physical playing. That's sports, is the unknown of how well a person's going to play on this day. No matter how good this person is, they may not play that well today. And there isn't analytics that can always tell you that. And so I'm not a big numbers guy just in general. So like too much numbers in the players' heads, I question how much it affects players. Do players get into analytics as much as coaching staffs and upper management? I don't know. I guess every player is different. I can understand it for pitcher.
Yeah.
I can understand where analytics could be more valuable when you're talking about hitters and what their preference is,
right,
and
where they usually go
shoot this gap, and where they go. Like I get that, you know what I mean? But even still, it has to be some instinct that goes along with it. There was a interesting. The reason I brought this up, I saw this graph that was released the other day about different teams and their analytics staff or whatever. Tampa Bay leads in an analytics staff with 39 people employed by the Tampa Bay Rays that just focus on analytics. The Cubs are about middle of the pack with 26.
And they some people, they started praising the Cubs because they decided to do. Now they did it with Joe Madden, like just like Tampa Bay, but they were like, yeah, the Cubs are finally getting into that,
But now guess who's dead last in
the Sox.
Analytics employees? The Sox with only 5.
But they're close to the first place in the Cubs.
But they're only better than the Cubs based on the fact that they actually just have more talent, not because they're using it really better. Like
okay, so
like I'm not a huge analytics guy, but then when I look at that and I look at how good this team supposedly should be,
well, okay, Tampa Bay's number 1. They only have 3 more wins than the Sox.
Okay, I get it.
And they're 8 games out.
They play in a tougher division.
I know.
In the AL East.
But then when you think about it, really, I mean, Boston is third. I guess overall, historically, they are better, but they're very beatable in that, especially now the Yankees.
Now the Yankees
3-7 in their last 10.
Now the Yankees, I think I just read they've lost 6 straight series.
Yeah, they've been really
for the
bad.
First time since 1995.
Who's number 2 on the analytical list? Where's Houston?
Yeah, now that's a good question.
Because I know Dusty's old school. So I like to. Now he might be a good combination if they have a lot of analytical
right
people. And that's why people always question Dusty's moves.
They've always questioned Dusty's
yes,
moves.
because he is very instinctual. And you remember his Larry was Neffy Perez. He played him when he shouldn't.
Right. I'm trying to find this graph, and I remember I just paid attention to who had the most.
Oh, the most and
where the Cubs and the Sox.
Well, we'll look that up for the next
landed.
one.
Well, I'll have to find that graph. But
we know that Dusty is old school, so maybe they found the good mix of, like when you were saying the example with Tony. Give Tony the numbers, and then he can weigh out his feelings, and then he can really take a look at, Gavin has a 40% better chance of getting a hit off of this person than such and such.
And Tony strikes me as the guy who would be completely anti-analytics to a fault.
He's like, what's his name? What was you're the announcer? The Hog.
Yes.
Will to win.
Yes.
Which I agree.
Which, to a degree.
Right. But if they haven't had the will to win and they haven't hit anything, you may need to try somebody else.
You may want to try something else, or look at some numbers and what do the numbers possibly say. So
I'm not totally against numbers, but like what you said, that can't be all for me.
Right.
And what like Deb just said, there's so many, and they push so many at you. And it's like this negative, this positive, like, oh, whatever. I just want to watch the game. That's like she said, like Deb said. Sometimes they talk so much about these numbers. Like, can I just enjoy this game? Can see the ball, hit the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball.
I've started watching games on mute sometimes, and I don't miss the announcing much of the time.
Yeah.
It's not like football. I like the announcing, but baseball is starting to get. I don't know. I dare I say I'm starting to miss Hawk, but I don't dare say that. But
well, do Jason and Steve talk a lot about analytics?
Not over the top. No.
No. I do. I definitely mute the Cubs broadcast because I'm just gonna be honest. I don't mind JD. He's missing a lot though, but I don't mind JD. But I don't like I don't like him.
Gotcha.
He could be gone. Lynn Casper loves his analytics, and to me, he's one of those who also kind of makes you feel stupid if you don't love him like he does.
Yes, and it's interesting to hear him and DJ kind of peck at each other on the air. Because DJ is a guy who's like, you could tell he's like, well, you never played the game. And Lynn is like, I'm smarter than you about the game. And that comes across a lot of times in their broadcasts. Like I can really
tell. Now, a few times I've listened, they weren't, good things were happening. So there wasn't a time for them to. But I feel sometimes that's how JD, like it seems like Jim DeShays. It seems like sometimes he's like, enough already. I feel like that's what he's saying on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he doesn't say, because he knows there's a lot of people who are in analytics, but it's just, it gets too much. And it's almost like, I need to learn how to say his name correctly if I'm going to say he gets on my nerves.
Right.
It's like that's all he talks about. So, and his voice, I just had to mute him. I'm not pleased with that, but it doesn't matter that I'm not pleased with it. Get your money, boo.
Of course.
Happy that you got a job.
Of course.
But you're not my cup of tea.
Gotcha.
So sometimes I have to mute because, especially when he just wants to explain away, and I'm because I'm not stupid. I understand what he's saying. I just don't care at this moment.
Yeah, like. They're not hard to follow. I don't think, you know what I mean? And some of them are interesting. Some of them pass the time while you're watching the game. But that's just from a fan standpoint. I think when players and coaches rely too much on them, it is taking the real human feel away from the game. I'm even like, and not that this should even matter, but I don't even think I like PitchCom or pitch. You know, I don't like. What does it matter to me as a fan? I don't know. It doesn't. But I miss seeing them throw the catcher throw the signs down and like.
That's true.
You know, like I don't know.
Is that was their way of trying to prevent stealing?
Yeah, it was because
like someone isn't going to figure out how to tap into that
PitchCom.
Come on now, they already know how.
Yeah,
somebody has an earpiece listening to your PitchCom.
Yeah, if anybody's figured it out, it's Houston.
That's a shame. Everyone still holds things against Houston.
I know.
And then sometimes when they like dog Dusty wasn't there when this happened.
I know, right? Dusty had nothing to do with that, but.
Yeah, so so back to your Sox. They play Kansas City. I guess it's a makeup game.
Yeah, they got one game, one off with Kansas City tomorrow.
And now they have to make up today's game. And then they go to Baltimore, which even though Baltimore is way down in their division, I mean, they're 11 games out, but they are 4 games over 500.
Baltimore is a hot team.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I don't want to hear or talk about anymore is the White Sox ease of schedule.
I knew that's what you were saying.
There's no such thing
anymore.
There's no such thing because they're not better than anybody. They don't have an easy schedule. I mean, okay, on paper it's easier than the Twins, I think.
Right.
But you know, when you're playing as inconsistently as the Sox are, there's nothing easy. Every game is going to count all the way through to the end. That's really struggle with Baltimore. Baltimore plays some hellified defense. Mm-hmm. I can remember that. But at the same time, you know, our pitching is hot right now. So, like, I don't know what's going to happen. I know Dylan Cease was supposed to start today, so I'm not sure if they're shifting his start to the Kansas City game tomorrow. Or
right now they have Michael Kopech. Yeah, but maybe that will change, and it'll be Cease and then Kopech in Baltimore.
Yeah, because now the Sox. Obviously, they still have Cleveland to worry about, and they have had Cleveland to worry about all year because the Cleveland Cleveland Guardians play the Sox very tough, no matter what, no matter when the Sox are really good and Cleveland's really bad or whatever it is, they always play the White Sox super tough, and we still got a few games against them left. Still got a set against the Twins. You know, there's room for the Sox to eat. You know, especially.
There is.
Let's take a look at the
playing Arizona. Like you're right, you know, but the problem is when we said that earlier, they didn't beat those teams. Yeah. Like they should be able to really beat Arizona.
You know, when you look at three at home against Arizona and then three at home against Kansas City, like they should really be able to eat off of that. Yeah. You know, but
that should be a 6-game winning streak.
That should be.
Watch them come out. Well, we're just hoping for a 3-3.
Yeah, you know, like I you know, if I could swap out one of those teams with Detroit, if it was Detroit, I'd feel good about them. We got Detroit's number. We don't have anybody else's number. Like I wouldn't even trust Kansas City at this point.
Because after that Kansas City, then they have the Twins. Then they go to Seattle. Seattle's been playing better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Oakland. Oakland's not good, but they just always struggle on the West Coast.
They always struggle on the West Coast. And so that's going to be a rough struggle going all the way out to the West Coast. 3 at Seattle, then 4 at Oakland. You know, I wouldn't take any of those for granted at all. No. You know, and then we got 2 back home with Colorado, and we were only able to split the series with Colorado earlier in the year. Still a lot of baseball left to be played. The team, what we can see is they're not going to lay down. They're going to keep winning games. They're going to keep losing games.
Every time I'll see like the Sox fans start getting excited, like when they beat Houston the first 2 games. It's
First
like,
2 games.
oh, okay.
And I thought it was going to be opposite. I thought they would lose the first 2 and then hopefully get the second 2.
And then
but
how they
flipped
lost
it
that
on me.
third one. Oof.
Oh, that last
21-5 or something like that.
That was.
Oh,
Next year's Sox and Mets. That's right. So we'll be playing them here in Chicago and in New York.
Okay.
So that'll be good.
If you go to that game, Deb, you'll have to like do a little report from there. Video yourself with a little report.
That's what we would love, some on-field action from City Field.
Yes, our Plunkster
resident Plunkster.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Well, before we wrap, always interesting when some ex-Bulls are in the news. Dennis Rodman in the news. Did you see that?
That he's going to Russia?
He's going to Russia to help free Britney.
Yeah.
More power to you.
Okay, go ahead. He got permission. He said to go do it.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Have at it. You know, if anybody could do it, it probably wouldn't be Dennis Rodman. But I applaud his efforts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because right now they want something.
They want something and
they've been offered something that a lot of people are like, that's a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And then it's the argument a lot of people are saying, should they offer more? Should they not offer more? It was the sentence was too harsh. He did break the law. It's too, it's just a whole.
It's
but
a
if
mess.
Dennis gets her, that's great.
That's a mess. I mean, what a mess.
Yeah.
That poor lady.
And people thought, well, she played for the team. Russia right now, Russia does not care. They were empowered years ago.
Yeah, they don't care anything about sports like that. That is not the United States.
No, and then they got excited because they got to keep her. And people are like, well, LeBron would have been out by now. LeBron probably wouldn't have done anything to
Yeah.
And
like what LeBron? What kind of comparison is that?
That's what they keep saying. Like
clean LeBron. I mean,
you
we've been waiting for some dirt to come out on LeBron, and there's seems to be none.
Yeah, when some does, it's able to hush it up right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, like LeBron's not getting ready to do that. You're right. Come up with a better comparison.
Yeah.
Maybe it did happen because she's a woman, and that type of stuff. But don't compare to LeBron.
Yeah. And say like, well, LeBron would have,
And everything is about money in the world. No matter how much we try to say it's not or it shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be, but it is. And LeBron makes a lot more people way more money than Britney Griner.
This is true.
A lot of people didn't even know who she was until this happened. Because
even in the United States.
Yes, because women are some of the worst supporters of the WNBA.
Wow.
I mean, we keep talking like it's so crazy. That comedian was Bill Burr. He makes the joke about women talking about why don't you support? Are you?
Why don't you support it?
Right. If all the women who like any type of sport spent time watching WNBA, they would have great ratings. Chris went to a Sky game and he said it was a lot of fun, the playoff game, but there still weren't enough people there.
Right. I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah, but good old.
Well, what I could do is probably go to a game, but I don't know. I don't know how I can help. My hands are tied. Hey, I don't know if you come up with anything. Let me know how I can help. Well, you can go to get. No.
I don't know what I can
do. Let me know off camera.
Well, I hope Dennis is successul.
Yeah, I hope so. That poor woman, like she needs to come home.
9 years. Woof.
That is awful for a cart.
You also, and then lesson learned for anyone else: don't do it.
Don't do it. They do not play.
No,
They
don't do it
don't
anymore.
play. Go on overseas with anything. They do not play.
Just throw it away. Wait till you get home to get your new stuff.
Yeah. Find something there. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Don't bring it with you. Don't bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. Don't risk it.
All right. With that being said, I think this is a good time to wrap up this latest edition of Plunked. We'd like to thank everybody of past, present, and future for your support. Once again, go White Sox, go Cubs, go Bulls, go Bears, go Blackhawks, go Sky, and Fire. Go
and
Fire.
Wolves.
And who?
Wolves.
And the Wolves.
Do we have Red Stars? No, is that us? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know who the Red Stars are. Anyways.
I don't know.
All right, Deb. Thanks for tuning in as usual.
Bye, Deb.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right, you all. Peace.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.